1930s wooden boat meets the latest in laser measuring. The story of why I need this though is the story of giving this old girl another 100-year lifespan. But why I'm doing it at all? Well, because she's beautiful. Keryl is a 1936 Class A ocean racing yacht, built for a lady by Harry King's yard in Pinmill. She's been my home for 20 years of running repairs, but now we're in Lymington for a complete rebuild. Welcome back to the story of Keryl Reborn. It's all in the boatyard day's work, you know. So the big works in the boat shed in this episode was that stern timber and finally getting the stern and horn timbers to sit perfectly in place. So to understand why I need this level of modern laser accuracy, we actually need to have a chat and discussion about the elephant in the room. So come and meet him, because he's down here hiding underneath the boat, weighing in at nearly 4 ton. This is the original iron ballast keel. So far we've built the entire lifting cradle to separate the hull from this beast. We've dragged it out, he's been off to be weighed, and he's been shoved back under here just to be forgotten about. But we're going to have to deal with him because he's starting to become a problem. So the fundamental cause of all this boat's ills stems from the inclusion of iron in her original construction. But 90 years on, it's the slow tick, tick, tick of little electrical currents as this doesn't want to be iron, it wants to be rust. And it eats away at the very core of the boat as it does it. So if I reuse this iron ballast, then I immediately limit her life again. And if I can pull off my dreams and somehow in this project pull it together to switch this to lead, well then I give her a 100-year life. But any project that changes the keel starts with measurements. For me, that would have been a tape measure and a piece of plywood. But look at this fabulous gift the project has been given. Because this is the most incredibly accurate LiDAR scan. So the reason why I haven't done it yet is quite simply this: I've never been able to afford it. Whichever way I sum this up, either using a professional casting service or getting the equipment to home poor and its risks, it always seems to come out to be somewhere between £10,000 and £12,000 to do this element of the job. And quite simply, I've just never been able to afford it. And like everybody else with a problem they can't solve, we just hide it and pretend it's not there. Hence the elephant in the room comparison. But it is starting to become a pressing issue because it actually stops me going forward to complete the spine. Essentially the great bolts that go through the bow and the stern timbers and deadwoods also pass through the ballast and the associated deadwoods, and I can't fix either end permanently down until I've made a decision about that. So what do? Do I stop spending money on anything else and just take time out, kill the project till I've banked the cash to do this job? So I thought I'd try something else. I thought I'd put my hand up in the air and see if there's anyone out there mad enough to maybe want to help with this element of the project. To that end, I've set up a crowdfunding, a GoFundMe appeal to find out. Basics are I carry on with the heavy lifting and build my landscape business up to keep paying for materials, for the timbers and the fastenings and pay the rent, and any help on the crowdfunder would literally be for this element, switching this to lead. So to round this all off today, I have to say 2 things. First is a huge thank you to Drew and Declan of Dive Co, a business here on the Haven Quay Marina, who gifted to the project the time, the skills and the equipment to make this incredible LiDAR scan. It would have cost thousands of pounds for me to employ a survey company to come and do this, and the guys have just done it as a gift. What it enables me to do is to carry on with the sums at least, to make a casting plug, and then to say, if you are one of the kind people that would be mad enough to help with this, you'll find a link to the GoFundMe project down in the description. And thank you. Pretty cool graphics though, aren't they? Autumn's setting in, the forest is telling me that as the leaves change colour. The pigs of Pilly are out to pannage, the boatyard's filling up for this winter season. So, cracking on with Keryl's stern timbers. So far we have the old transom repaired and almost in position. We have the horn timber, the beautiful horn timber, fine piece of green heart, again roughly in position. Right down there we have the keel timber sat, again rough position, and the missing link between all of those is this, which is Keryl's stern post. This is the original, that's the orientation, and it will be going in, sliding in there. This is the new one, a fine piece of a Pepe. Before I go cutting expensive timbers, I need to make a template. So I can tell you another hour has passed of me staring and prodding and pushing at things, trying to decide what to do best. The things don't quite fit because there's not enough easing for the rabbits jamming against old planks. I don't really want to cut more rabbit away to fit these planks, as I want to save all that meat for a later date. And I've come to the conclusion that I could stare at this for the next 2 weeks, which would be a very, very boring episode, or I can just cut it. I think it's going to work. I think just cutting out a new stern post to fit the geometry of this horn timber is going to be okay, or I can make it fit. So yeah, just cut it. First job though, there's a little bit of bend in the blank, so I just need to make it perfectly flat. Well, there you go. That's a good working surface anyway. People might be sitting thinking, why don't you just take that to a planer thicknesser? Well, I haven't got one, is the story. You see the price of those things? So with the blank of the stern post rough cut, it's time for planing. First face I'm working on is this one on the old timber, and this is the interior to the boat, and this is the face that butts onto the great deadwood, great bracket inside. So the job here is to get it square, dead straight. Number 8 plane, as ever, becoming my favourite tool. Next one to cut. So this is the foot or the bottom of the stern post has to be absolutely flat as it meets the keel timber plane, so I'm using the number 8, which is great for getting that flat, but also this little beauty. This is a bit of geek stuff for the woodworkers amongst us. I bought this about a year ago, pretty much for jobs like this in mind. Just picked it up on eBay. Oh, it's a darling thing. It's a low angle block plane, skew blade, and honestly, for taking off the finest shavings, I've never used anything quite like it. Anyway, that's the job next to do. I think it's spot on. So the last joint to fix is this one, which is the bearing face for the horn timber pushing down. Obviously you've got to be super square. Now I did cut that one with a block as a guide, but the saw has walked away, or I let the saw walk away, so I had quite a bit of meat to take off there. I was playing with the planes, but actually it's going to be easier to mill that with the router. To route that with a router, obviously a router has to be guided, so I'm just making up this quick box covered with a piece of ply and the offcuts of a pepe to give me the dimension absolutely flat, and that will just guide me on here. So next step, here is the old timber, the new timber. The faces are all cut now and it's a pretty accurate template. Now we need to start working on the face dimensions. So this is exactly 4 inches, so is the new one. But quite easily you'll see that here it skinnies right down, it's about 3.5 inch or so. And this is where the horn timber slides on and clamps on. I need to copy that right to be able to get these rabbits to cross just where I want them for the stop water. So let's use a router. Righty, so this is the horn timber and this is the crutch saddle joint that fits onto this stern post. So now I need to open that up to the 86 mil that's measured to. The bandsaw, good old Billy the bandsaw, is actually cutting beautifully square. So I just need to mark it out and then concentrate on a cut. Righty, so I'm kind of all ready to see if this fits. I faced up all the joints and this is set at the angle pretty much that it will be sitting on the keel timber. I've got a winch. Well, give it a go. Rich is here to help if I can't get it. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, let's get in there with the cameraman. Let's see if this fits. pull back from it and see, that's tight now. There! Go on.
And much sure.
That is a rather fine thing to see. Rich, mate, we're going sailing.
I am in awe. Absolutely in awe.
I do have to say that's the easy bit. It's going to be much more fun getting it in situ on the boat, and I'll need more than Rich's help for that. Perfect timing.
Not as talented as you say, eh?
Perfect timing. Mighty Mike just turned up. Say hello.
Hello.
And I do believe you just brought my lunch.
I did.
Should you give me that a pasty in your mouth?
It even looks straight to the front pointy bit.
We're just
Chunks of...
the pointy bit. That's the technical term,
Oh,
is
this
it?
is the blunt bit, isn't it?
This is the blunt bit, yeah.
And that's the pointy bit. Breaking it.
No, not breaking.
You're ruining it.
So actually, when this first went in, I thought it was sitting way too high, but you need to position it with the transom, and everything sits right. Don't forget, this all has to, these frames have to pull up. But actually, it's nearly perfect. I left a little spacer block just in case I wanted it, so I could lower the whole thing down. I think if I take that out, I've got a fit. The boatyard boys are a little bit busy. I think they're getting grumpy with the amount of asking I've been doing, so I've got to get this out on my own, so I've got a plan. Now that went to plan. Honestly, I had a plan and everything. "20 years ago, Tom Cunliffe, the excellent Tom Cunliffe, told me this thing." He said, and it's always made me smile. He said, "Simon, just remember the next time you're on a quay in your beautiful Keryl and your beautiful wooden boat with the varnish shining." He said, "The people always come and talk to a wooden boat, don't they?" I said, "Yeah, they do, Tom." He said, "Then you get the idiots, the ones that come along and say, 'Oh, beautiful boat, wooden boats, beautiful things. Fabs, we'd have a wooden boat, but so much work." And he said, when you get those ones, he said, just look them square in the eye and say, "Oh, don't you like work?" And then you watch them scurry away, and I think he's absolutely right. I've only used it a couple of times and only for idiots, but I don't think when Tom told me that or when I got into wooden boats, when I fell in love with this thing 20 years ago, that we quite meant this much work. But I can tell you this, I do like it. The last days of putting this in has just been absorbing, filling my head with how to do it. Because you need to understand, or please remember, I'm not a boat builder or shipwright. In fact, those terms to me should only be reserved for those people who time served earned the right to be called that. I'm an ex-chef and gardener. So I'm literally working this stuff out. I mean, yeah, I've put lots of planks on boats. I've framed a lot of Keryl and other boats. I've put stems in. I've done other bits, but never anything quite on this scale. So if you're watching this at all, please remember that you're not watching a shipwright, you're watching a guy work stuff out. When I took this apart, I had no idea. I didn't know that curve was built into it. I saw it and then had to work out how to repeat it. Getting this to meet so accurately has just been, well, therapy almost, I have to say. Next job on the list is the great deadwood, the great internal deadwood, the bracket that holds everything together and all its bronze bolts. That'll be next time. So just to say thank you for watching, Keryl Reborn.